need to detect is
durable, no none.
MotoWorld is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and ATC three-wheelers. Honda, follow the leader. And by Ford and your local Ford dealer who invites you to test drive the 1985 Ford trucks. Ford is America's truck, built Ford tough.
Hello, I'm Larry Myers, and welcome to MotoWorld, the series that showcases the exciting and fascinating world of motorcycle racing. On this edition of MotoWorld, we'll venture to Houston, Texas for the Camel Pro Series opener. We'll update you on the AMA Supercross season. 4 events have been held since our last edition, and we have all the highlights. We'll also profile a retired motorcycle racer who's making a comeback, this time on 4 wheels. But first, let's go three-wheeling.
His tender age, Jackie knows what it takes to be a success.
You just got to play it cool. You got to watch what everybody else does.
Jackie did play it cool, and he kept a careful watch on his fellow competitors, although most of them were watching the rear end of his machine all weekend. Jackie, number 111, lived up to his reputation, winning 2 classes and finishing second in another. If Jackie Meadows is considered the top amateur, then this man must be considered the top pro. Jimmy White of Irvine, California. Jimmy is number 31 and is rumored to be the highest paid pro rider in the three-wheeler ranks, taking home about $100,000 a year. Jimmy rides for Team Kawasaki, and his claim to be number 1 would be disputed if you carried that opinion over to Team Honda. Team Honda is the dominant force in three-wheel competition, although Jimmy makes a good living at giving them a run for their money. The Lake George round of the AATVA series is the only race run on the ice, and as far as Jimmy is concerned, he'd like to keep it that way.
Ice racing is great for the people that live back here, but I'd rather race in California where it's warm and on dirt. The ice racing is just, if I was back here all winter racing on the ice, I'd probably like it because I'd be more used to it, but just coming back here and trying to race on it, one race is kind of near impossible to be competitive.
Even though Jimmy didn't care much for the ice, he showed what kind of competitor he was in the 250cc final on Sunday. At the start of the 10-lap main event, Jimmy, number 31, was laboring back in the middle of the pack. He could have easily conceded the race and blamed his performance on the treacherous conditions, but instead, he mounted a charge to the front. The slippery 7-turn mile-and-a-quarter track was not conducive for such a charge, but Jimmy went for it. He found that he could overtake his competitors on this fast left-hand sweeper. By the halfway point, he was in 3rd spot. On the next lap, at the very same spot, he used the left-hand sweeper again to his advantage to take over 2nd. The only rider ahead of him now was number 7, Steve Mendenhall, out of Gardner, North Carolina. The two battled as the laps wore down. Jimmy tried his patented move on Mendenhall, but the Tar Heel rider was having none of it. 2 laps remained, and it looked as if Jimmy's charge would fall short. Jimmy tried one more time to get past his rival. This time, it worked. Once in front, Jimmy gave the thumbs up and cruised to victory. It was a fantastic come-from-behind win for Jimmy White, and one he'll remember for a long time. The AATVA Tour now moves to sunny Florida for round 3 on April 6th and 7th at Hialeah Speedway. Reporting for MotoWorld, this is Bo Bach.
Still to come on MotoWorld. The Supercross season is in full swing, and we have highlights from Anaheim, Seattle, and Atlanta. And coming up next, the 1985 Camel Pro Dirt Track Series opens in the Houston Astrodome with a doubleheader of excitement. Stay right where you are, and we'll be right back.
The Dyno Room. Weak machines fill it. Once harnessed to the dynamometer, there are no secrets. The Honda Magna. Its V4 power seems immeasurable. The power of Magna. All the power you'll ever need.
This is deep gumbo mud in a 300-foot-long track. The famous Ford Bigfoot can handle it. But can a standard 4x4 pickup make it through? These Ford 4x4s have great traction with independent front suspension and real power, like Ranger's powerful V6 or Ford's big pickups with powerful V8s or diesels. You made it through.
Yeah, my Ford truck and me.
The best-built American trucks are built Ford tough.
Racing. From the inside, no one covers it like Auto Week. Auto Week makes you an insider at the world's great race circuits every week. In the pits, behind the scenes, even in the cockpit with racing driver columnists in Formula One, NASCAR, and kart. Inside coverage just days after the race. And Auto Week puts you inside the world's most exciting cars, right behind the wheel. Auto Week takes you inside the whole automotive scene. Personalities, great cars of the past, columnists with inside scuttlebutt. Let Auto Week make you an insider, too. Call for a year's subscription to Auto Week. 52 issues at the basic price of $23, just 44 cents an issue. Call 1-800-331-1000 and get this $10 Auto Week fender cover absolutely free. Call right now, 1-800-331-1000. Let Auto Week make you an insider, too.
Since 1968, the American Motorcyclists Association Camel Pro Dirt Track Series has opened its season indoors at the Houston Astrodome. Reigning series champion Ricky Graham came to Houston to begin defense of his title. But as Dennis Torres reports, Graham left Houston bruised, battered, and without any championship points.
The start of a new racing season always breeds optimism throughout the ranks of championship hopefuls. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past, because everyone starts the season with a clean slate. No one knows that better than 1984 champ Ricky Graham. Graham won the season opener at Houston in 1982 and 84. He went on to win the Camel Pro crown on both occasions. Graham, wearing the #1 plate for his championship the year before, looked good in winning his heat. The Astrodome crowd looked to Graham as the favorite as 15 riders lined up for the start of the first National of the year. At the drop of the green, Graham got a good start from the middle of the first row. As they came out of the first turn, Graham was second behind Scott Pearson, number 95. Number 67, Bubba Schobert, was right alongside Graham as they headed for the jump for the first time. Over the jump went Pearson and then Graham. Suddenly, Graham went down hard, taking down Schobert as well as Mickey Fay. Graham seemed to go down for no apparent reason. Schobert could not avoid his teammate, while Mickey Fay probably got the worst of it, speared in the stomach by his handlebars. All three remounted and lined up for the restart. At the green, Graham again got a good start, but as they came out of the first turn, it was again number 95, Scott Pearson, who held the lead. Graham took an inside line on Pearson, but Pearson closed the door on the champ. At the jump for the first time, disaster. Graham and Schobert collided in midair, sending Graham to the Astrodome floor. On the replay, it looks as if Schobert cut across Graham's path in midair. Schobert's bike gets underneath Graham's machine, preventing any possibility of Graham saving it once it hit the ground. Graham suffered a compressed vertebrae, 2 cracked ribs, and a broken right thumb. Once again, the riders, minus Graham, made it back to the start-finish line for restart number 3. And for the third time, it was Californian Scott Pearson who got the whole shot. Pearson stayed out in front, aided by a tremendous battle behind him for second spot. Number 67, Schobert, upholding factory Honda honors, and number 11, Scotty Parker, the pride of the Harley-Davidson factory, were locking horns in a furious battle. They were soon right on the tail of Pearson's privately entered Honda. As the trio of riders negotiated the jump, Schobert and Parker dived to the inside, only to find Pearson already there. Schobert goes down, but remounts to fight back to an eventual 8th place finish. With 5 laps to go in the 25-lap main event, Parker forced his way by Pearson for the lead, a lead he would never relinquish. The Flint, Michigan Flyer took his 7th career national win and his first in a Tourist Trophy event. The second part of the Houston doubleheader took place the following evening. This time, the Camel Pro stars would be doing battle on the Astrodome short track. No jumps this time, just flat-out riding on a half-mile oval. From the start, number 44, Alex Jorgensen out of Stockton, California, put his wood Rotax out in front. But by half distance in the 25-lap affair, he was being challenged by a familiar rider in unfamiliar attire. Two-time Camel Pro champ Randy Goss, number 6, was making his debut ride for the new Freddie Spencer Racing Team. Goss had worn the factory Harley-Davidson orange and black for 5 seasons. This year, he was on a Honda and was decked out in blue. Goss and Jorgensen traded the lead for several laps until Goss got out in front for good on lap 14. It was a popular win for Goss, who suffered a broken leg last season while in the midst of a fierce battle for the championship. The previous night's winner, Scott Parker, finished in 7th spot. Coupled with his first place points from the night before, he now leads the Camel Pro standings for the first time in his career. Starting in 1985, the Camel Pro Series will have 2 separate championships for road racing and dirt tracking. So the next time the Camel Pro stars will hit the dirt will be March 30th in Gardenia, California. Reporting for MotoWorld, this is Dennis Torres.
Ricky Graham hopes to be back racing the next time the Camel Pro Series stars are in action. No one knows better than Ricky what it takes to come back from injuries. He has done it time and time again. However, he is very sensitive to the dangers of racing and their effect on his career.
Racing's a dangerous sport, and every time we go out there, you know, you're risking your life, and that's not something, it's something that I do think about. I don't know if a lot of these guys do, but I think about it. You hope that if you can go out there and go fast and use your head at the right times, know when to go fast, know when not to try to go for it. So there's a lot of different things that play a role in how long you want to keep racing.
Introducing the Nighthawk S from Honda. We asked world champion Freddie Spencer to take it for a ride. Because what we find out on the track, you can't find out on the street. Freddie liked the way it handled, the way it accelerated, the way it stopped. In fact, Freddie liked the Nighthawk S so much, he never brought it back.
Hey, you know what my job is? Well, this is my office, a movie set. Yeah, I'm a stuntman, and I depend on my equipment.
That's why Terry Leonard likes a tough Ford Ranger like this one. With a V6 engine, no small V6 tops for power. Tough twin I-beam suspension, a strong ladder-type frame, tough double-box walls, and the widest cab in its class.
That's terrific, Terry! It's easy for my Ford Ranger and me.
The best-built American trucks are built Ford tough.
Charles Schwab & Company is America's leading discount broker. And I'm going to show you one of the reasons why. This, a Schwab Individual Retirement Account. A Schwab IRA is the free IRA. There's no setup fee, no maintenance fee, no termination fee. You're free to put your money in stocks, covered options, corporate bonds, a money market fund, even no-load mutual funds. And you're free to switch between investments whenever you want. When you want to order, you can phone toll-free 24 hours a day, any day you want. And because this is a Schwab IRA, you can save up to 76% in broker's commissions when you buy or sell stocks. A Schwab IRA. It's free and you're free to help your retirement money grow. Look into it. For your free Schwab IRA booklet and application, phone toll-free 800-453-1400. That's 800-453-1400. Charles Schwab, a Bank America company, member SIPC.
Although Team Honda's defending Supercross champion Johnny O'Mara won the opening round in San Diego, it is evident that this season will not be a cakewalk for the powerhouse Honda team. Rounds 2 through 5 produced 3 separate winners for Yamaha, Honda, and Kawasaki. In round 2, a capacity crowd at Anaheim served notice that Supercross is alive and well. They were treated to outstanding race action that began in the first heat. Team Honda's Ron Lechien grabbed the hole shot, but behind him, Privateer Kenny Keelan on the left side of your screen loses control and bails out. Seconds later, it was Honda-mounted David Bailey and yellow-clad Ross Peterson providing the action as Bailey plows through Peterson to hold 4th place. Lechien's win in heat race number 1 served notice that Team Honda was looking for back-to-back wins. With the new 2 main event format, the emphasis on starts is more critical than ever. With that in mind, the 20-rider field swept through the first corner with Yamaha's Ricky Johnson leading the way. For all intents and purposes, the race was over. Johnson was never challenged as he led every lap with teammate Brock Glover in tow. Johnson was halfway home. The second main would tell the story. Johnson failed to duplicate his first main event hole shot as Suzuki-mounted Scott Burnworth and Brock Glover battled for the lead. Glover found an inside line, and that battle was over. Burnworth fell even further off the pace as a trio of hard-charging riders stormed past in a dogfight for second. It was Team Honda's Johnny O'Mara, Ron Lechien, and winner of the first main event, Ricky Johnson. Lechien pushed too hard, went down, and took Johnson with him. O'Mara, now alone in second, closed on Glover but ran out of time. Glover took the checkered flag and the overall win. The Seattle Kingdome was the battleground for rounds 3 and 4 of the Supercross series, and once again the opening heat set the stage for the excitement to come. Grand National champion David Bailey, way out in front in heat number 1, goes down hard. In slow motion, you'll see Bailey slide off the bike, but with his hands still on the throttle. The sliding motion caused Bailey to grab a handful, rocketing the bike sideways and slamming Bailey face first into the dirt. Lacerations and a broken hand put Bailey on the sidelines for the Seattle weekend. Bailey's departure put a dent in the Honda effort, but Ron Lechien, number 6, picked up the gauntlet. He took an early lead and ran away from the rest of the field. At the midway point, Lechien had time to get off, take a bite of hay, get back up, and still hold on to the lead. His snack break allowed number 2, Jeff Ward, to close the gap, but that was as close as anyone would get. Lechien went on to win the first main event. The second main event was a carbon copy of the first. The gate dropped and 20 riders banged and clawed toward the first corner. Leading the charge was again number 6, Ron Lechien. Lechien turned in a flawless performance and became the first rider to sweep both main events in a single night of racing. The following evening, the riders returned to the Kingdome for round 4 of the series. In the first main event, Lechien, number 6, appeared to be unbeatable. As in the previous night of racing, Brock Glover, number 4, was in the runner-up position, needing a break to catch Lechien. Lechien provided that break with just 3 laps to go. He quickly remounted, but his engine had stalled. He tried desperately to start it, but to no avail. It finally fired, but the damage was done as Glover made the pass and took the lead. Yamaha's Golden Boy of Motocross held the lead and went on to take the checkered flag. Lechien's string of main event wins was broken. In the second main event, Lechien roared back with a vengeance. The teenage sensation led every lap. His back-to-back wins in the Kingdome must rank as the highlight of his young career. Round 5 of the 1985 Supercross Series came to Atlanta, Georgia, with some riders still concerned over the new format.
My impression of it was that it's more exciting, but I think that the races are too short. I think 12 laps is much too short a time for a race to develop, and it definitely makes us ride more aggressive, because if you don't get a good start, you better ride like gangbusters to get yourself to the front of the pack.
I don't mind either way. Just it's kind of 50-50. Some people I talk to like the one moto because they know who won overall, but then again they like to see everybody race twice. So it's really no different to the rider, and the way it is now is just fine for me.
So far it's worked to my advantage, I guess, but it hasn't really made that much of a difference. We ride 2 main events instead of 1. It's hectic because you don't have much time between them, and it's hard to say. I have mixed feelings about it, but I'm just going to block that out the best I can and just try to go win this series.
The first 4 races of the '85 season had produced 3 different winners. Of the 3, Ron Lechien appeared to be the most dominant and certainly ranked as the Atlanta favorite. At the start of the first main event, sure enough, it was Lachine, followed by teammate Johnny O'Mara and Kawasaki's Mark Barnett. The O-Show tried every line in the track to gain on Lachine, and then this. O'Mara flies off the track. The detour cost him several positions as the action turns to Bailey and Barnett. Kawasaki's Mark Barnett with an inside line draws abreast of Bailey, forces him to the outside of the track and goes by. Barnett held on to take second place as Ron Lachine cruised to the first main event win. Main event number 2, and Lachine shows no sign of letting up as again he streaks to the front of the pack in what appeared to be another win. But Brock Glover had other ideas and midway through the race passed Lachine for the number 1 spot. Had Lachine settled for second, he still would have been the overall winner, but Lachine chased Glover and paid the price. He went down and lost 2 positions as Kawasaki teammates Barnett and Ward moved into second and third. That was the order at the end of the second main event. Barnett's pair of runner-up positions gave him a long overdue victory and the first win in '85 for Team Kawasaki.
Yeah, it's been so long since I won. This win here just feels really good, and knowing that I can win, and I just know that there's a little bit of doubt there before, but there's no doubt anymore.
Brock Glover leaves Atlanta with a series lead. Next up is Gainesville in the first outdoor national of the season, and then to Daytona for more Supercross.
When you drive America's truck, there's one place you'll want to be.
On the road again. My Ford truck and me on the road again. Work or play, there can't be any tougher friend. I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Just can't wait to see what's around the bend. When you drive a Ford, you're driving with a friend. My Ford truck and me on the road again.
The dyno room. Weak machines fill it. Once harnessed to the dynamometer, there are no secrets. The Honda Magna. Its V4 power seems immeasurable. The power of Magna. All the power you'll ever need.
Racing. From the inside, no one covers it like AutoWeek. AutoWeek makes you an insider at the world's great race circuits every week. In the pits, behind the scenes, even in the cockpit with racing driver columnists in Formula One, NASCAR, and kart. Inside coverage just days after the race. And AutoWeek puts you inside the world's most exciting cars, right behind the wheel. AutoWeek takes you inside the whole automotive scene. Personalities, great cars of the past, columnists with inside scuttlebutt. Let AutoWeek make you an insider, too. Call for a year's subscription to AutoWeek. 52 issues at the basic price of $23, just 44 cents an issue. Call 1-800-331-1000 and get this $10 AutoWeek fender cover absolutely free. Call right now, 1-800-331-1000. Let AutoWeek make you an insider, too.
Welcome back to MotoWorld. It's not uncommon for motorcycle racers to find their way into car racing. Some of auto racing's finest drivers started out on 2 wheels. The latest to make the transition is a familiar name to road racing fans. Dennis Torres reports.
In the late 1970s and early 80s, Dalton, Georgia's Dale Singleton was making a name for himself in international road racing. His most important claim to fame was winning the Daytona 200 not once, but twice. Other riders have accomplished that, but none have done so as a privateer. It was his dedication and professionalism that carried him to those prestigious victories. He has since retired from two-wheels competition, but has embarked on a new racing career. At the recent Daytona Speed Weeks, Singleton returned to the site of his celebrated victories. But this time he came to Daytona to race stock cars. Singleton has put together a team which he hopes will carry him to the same success he enjoyed as a motorcycle road racer. But why stock cars?
Well, I think it's a geographical natural for me, living in the Southeast, and I kind of was able to get some identity with some of the NASCAR drivers being here at Daytona doing tire testing sessions and things back when I was racing motorcycles, and something that time, and I think the stock car racing scene would, would fit me well.
In only his first time on a super speedway, Singleton impressed veteran observers in early practice runs.
I find myself very impressed with Dale Singleton. He's going to compare very favorably with the likes of Dale Earnhardt and Ricky Rudd as well. And certainly in the realm of the experience that I've had with new folks, he's very, very near, if not at the top of those folks. I'm very impressed with his abilities on the speedways.
Singleton would be competing in the ARCA 200, a preliminary to the famed Daytona 500. He started 16th in a field of 36 cars. All was going well in his debut ride until an electrical problem forced him into the pits. He lost 8 laps while his team completed repairs, but he was determined to finish the race. Back out on the track, he was going well until he was involved in a 5-car pileup, which put him out of the race for good. While many rookie drivers would have probably sulked, Singleton was filled with optimism.
I think that I'm ready to set myself a new career up in stock car racing.
Based on past performances, I don't think anyone will argue that point. Reporting for MotoWorld, this is Dennis Torres.
Despite the heavy damage inflicted on his car, Dale says it will be ready for his next race in Atlanta on March 16th. Now let's look in on another motorcycle personality trying to make it on 4 wheels. At the recent Parker 400 off-road race, a well-known Supercross personality was taking part. You won't recognize him underneath the helmet, but maybe the nickname on the side of his buggy will give you a hint. Give up? Gasset Goodwin is none other than the Supercross entrepreneur Mike Goodwin. Goodwin and co-driver Brian Dyson, who incidentally is the president of Coca-Cola, battled the off-road regulars in the middle of the Arizona desert. And how does the Supercross magnate and the head man from Coca-Cola stack up against the seasoned competition?
I tell you what, when we get more horsepower, we're going to win this stuff, because the only guy that passed us was the McMillans. 104 with a 6-cylinder, and I didn't have a 4th gear, and we almost kept up on the fire roads. We kept up about 5 miles with no 4th gear, so we're going to kick some beep.
Despite his optimistic prediction, Goodwin and company finished 11th in class. Meanwhile, the overall 2-wheel honors went to Dan Ashcraft on the left and Dan Smith on the right for the 2nd consecutive year. I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in. Please be with us on March 28th for the next edition of MotoWorld. We'll bring you all of the highlights from the 1985 Daytona Motorcycle Classic, and we'll follow Freddie Spencer as he tries to become the first rider in history to win all 3 Daytona road racing events. And we'll also have highlights from the first outdoor national motocross event of the year from Gatorback Park in Gainesville, Florida. Until March 28th, keep your wheels on the ground and your feet on the pegs. For MotoWorld, I'm Larry Myers.
MotoWorld has been brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and ATC 3-wheelers. Honda, follow the leader. And by Ford and your local Ford dealer who invite you to test drive the 1985 Ford trucks. Ford is America's truck, built Ford tough. A promotional fee has been paid by Cycle News. Cycle News covers local, national, and international motorcycle racing. 1 year, 50 issues for only $25.
This is the USA Network.